Alrighty, so in video 1 of how to do a t-test for independent means on SPSS or PSPP, we compared the score pretest of the control group and the experimental group just to verify that we were not starting with unequal scores. Now for this one, we're actually going to compare the post-test. So we're going to do something that you would realistically do in a real-world scenario of data analysis to try to figure out, did doing the stress reduction seminar yield any sort of significant difference versus just giving students a book on how to reduce their stress? All right, so that's our setup for this example stub. So again, analyze, compare means, independent samples t-test, which is the other term for a t-test of independent means. Now this time, we're going to tell it that the score variable is a post-test. And as you're seeing within the same work session, the software is going to remember what your last settings were. We're still going to use this grouping variable of the treatment group, okay? So we're going to define groups. We're still using the control group and the experimental group, the book and the class, which again is what I told it I wanted it labeled. I did that behind the scenes without the video on, but we have discussed how to do this within the software in earlier videos. So let's click OK. All right, so what we can see, and again, I used a random number generator to do this. So whatever these results are is purely just from Excel's random number generator. So our post-test score, our control group that read the book had a mean of 44.55. Our experimental group that took the class had a mean score of 52.55. So we come down here to our actual test results from independent samples test, because you can't just look at the means and assume that you know what's going on. So our Levine's test is not statistically significant, meaning we can use this first row of assuming equal variance. Whoops. All right, so let's come over here to this first row. Our T is negative 1.38. Our degrees of freedom is 92, right? 94 participants total, 47 in each group, minus 2. This is what we would expect to see. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, review your textbook chapter, please. And our significance is 0.172. So even though we might look at this and say, wow, one group was down to a 44 and one group was still up at a 52, which I guess proper math, I would round up since it's 0.5. So 45 and 53. This is not statistically significant. So if I would have just looked at it and assumed one group was lower than the other, I would have been wrong. So this is not statistically significant, 0.172. So my class did not do anything more than just giving students a book to read would have done. Now let's do this a little bit differently. Let's say that maybe I wanted to compare it based on their major, because I can do that. So what I'm going to do is come down here to independent samples t-test. And instead of this group now being the treatment group, all right, I will stop this video, reset my program, and we will continue with this example.